This conference will now be recorded.
Just a minute, please. Turner is restarting his laptop as we are not able to hear his voice. Sorry for the delay. Please, 2 minutes.
Hey, hello guys, hello everyone.
This
Hello.
conference will now be recorded.
Hey,
Yeah.
hi, hello everyone,
This.
guys.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Hello.
Yeah. Good morning. This is Tulsi Nagesh. Yeah.
Hey, hello everyone, guys. I have some issue with my laptop, so sorry for this delay in connecting. So I've connected via phone. So now you can clear me loud and clear, right? You can hear me loud and clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just give me a moment. I'm trying to open my slide. So guys, before I bring that up, let me introduce myself. Okay, so myself, Shiv Prasad. I'm currently working as a cloud consultant, where my main job responsibilities include working on various clouds and mostly AWS and GCP and Azure also included, along with some DevOps automations like infrastructure automations, where I am extensively a part of a team where we take care of a lot of Kubernetes clusters built on on managed services like GKS, AKS, and EKS. Okay, and all the deployments happen via the entire DevOps strategies, which includes kind of tools such as various version controlling tools like Git, Bitbucket, okay, and GitLab. And then Jenkins has integration tool along with AWS native tools, and then Docker, Kubernetes, along with some monitoring tools as well. So my job includes maintaining all of this infrastructure in terms of support as well as architecting new things as well. And training is a part-time that I do, guys. And training is a part-time that I do. And I've been training people on various technologies like Linux operating systems, Windows operating systems back then, and AWS and DevOps. And from past 2.5 years, I'm training people on AWS and DevOps as well. Okay, and DevOps being a lot of tools involved, my choice of tools includes like the most widely used tools across the globe, across organizations, and the curriculum changes accordingly, guys. Okay, so before we start, anyone has any questions, guys? Just to understand the crowd and the requirement, I always take a couple of questions from people to understand what is that they're looking for, so that it will be easy for me to cover those things in the sessions.
So, what are the basic things that you guys need to go into the course?
Okay, I'll try to answer that in detail. Any other questions?
Is the Kubernetes, Dockers, and everything is going to be covered, right?
Exactly. Yes. So that's my core skill set, I should say, guys. DevOps is a collection of various tools, but my core skill set is into infrastructure like Docker, Kubernetes, and then deployments using Jenkins. This is what I actually handle. Yes, that is a must now. That's a market need now. Kubernetes and Docker is a market need now. Yes, we cover that.
How
How
about
about sorry, go ahead.
how about AWS and related topics?
Yes, okay. I'll also try to cover that. So basically, yes, AWS itself is a very huge course, I should say.
Okay.
But everything that we do, the kind of practicals that we do, everything we do it on AWS itself.
Like big data technology for Spark and Scala in related to AWS, any projects you'll be doing in
Uh,
that?
no, no, this is nowhere related to big data and Spark. This is something that we are dealing with DevOps and Scala and Spark. I don't think that is part of this course.
Yes, so
Wha-
I want to learn more about AWS, like how to deploy in EC2 and Lambda, all these things. So,
So
uh,
I think we have a separate AWS session where we talk about solution architect associate.
okay.
Okay, and that's where we cover all of those in detail.
Okay. So how can I get the contact for
I
that?
mean,
Or
you can be in touch with the organizer. I think they will be able to accommodate your request.
okay,
Just
yeah.
talk to them.
Yeah.
Hi, I have a question. How much of Linux experience is required for this course?
So guys, Linux plays a very major role in DevOps because everything that we do is on the black screen, right? Everything that we do is on a black screen, by the way. And what I call is survival Linux is what I always call, guys. I mean, a basics of user management, user management, system administration, right? File permissions, package management, a bit of troubleshooting is needed, and like the port issues and all of those things. And we will be covering those things in the session as well. Like I'll take like 5 to 6 sessions on Linux where the most needed topics of Linux that we use in DevOps is what I'm going to cover in that. Okay.
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 What
And
about
yeah, can we do any like use cases or any project by the end of the course, anything like that in this curriculum?
Yes, definitely. So whatever we do, whatever we do in the session is more of the live environment, how the things work. And my approach is that whenever we talk about a tool, a specific tool, I'll be talking about the basics of the tool and how things are using in the organization, how things will be used in organizations, and what are the kind of questions that you can expect. And yes, at the end of the course, the entire goal of this course for every one of us is to understand the entire CI/CD process. Okay, you might not know what is CI/CD now, but I'm sure you will understand after I complete my slides. So CI/CD is something where we call continuous integration, continuous deployment, and that thing is what we are going to do at the end of the course.
Okay.
Yes,
are we
that will be
going?
kind of a project for you all.
I'm sorry. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Will we learn Amazon Web Services CLI after that?
No.
No. Okay. We will use Amazon Web Services only the website from website, right?
For the infrastructure, we use it. For the infrastructure is what, like, all the tools deployment and everything, we do it on the AWS only, the machine
Okay.
screen, because DevOps, like I said, is a collection of a lot of tools. And when we talk about the tools, we need to understand how the tools are installed, how are we maintaining it, right? So all the installations of these tools are happening on AWS because not everyone might have the high-end laptops. So we use AWS as an infrastructure hosting service.
Okay. Do you have any presentation today or just talking?
Yes, I have it, guys. No, I just have it. Just give me a moment. I'll just bring it up on the screen.
Okay, thank you very much.
Are we going to cover Ansible and Terraform in AWS?
Yes, Terraform and Ansible are also part of our course.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So guys, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Like you can see, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So guys, let me give you some insights on this. Okay. I think yes, I understood your questions, guys. If there are any questions that I have answered, I'll try to answer them throughout this session. So the whole idea of these slides or this session is to allow someone understand, like whoever is not aware of what DevOps is and how it has all started, okay, what is all about. I have tried to accommodate those things in this slide so that it will be easy for everyone to understand what is that we are actually heading towards. Okay, so hold back your questions in case if you have any. I'll be real quick on this because what I always believe is demo is your session, right? You have a lot of questions and I'm here to answer them. But to set the context, I'll just walk you through the slides. I'll tell you what is what. And at the end of the slides, I'll start taking your questions, guys. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get started. So basically, guys, you might have heard it many times now, DevOps actually become a buzzword in the industry. So what DevOps is, it is a combination of two main job roles, I should say, right? Development and operations. So which every organization has it. Like wherever you go, every organization has a separate development team where their core responsibilities is always to maintain, build something new, okay, develop something new, and ops team is always driving towards making sure their deployments are happening successfully and their servers are up and running all throughout the year, I should say. So when we talk about these two things in every organizations, traditionally these two teams like development and operations were working in a two different parallel streams where their necessity or neither the end goals were same, and that is how the traditional system was built. But what DevOps has done is that it brought both development and operations team onto the same page, and now their goals are same. When their goals are same, the teams which are part of these DevOps teams started showing better results in terms of delivering the code, in terms of fixing the issues, and all of those things. Okay, I'll walk you through that. So in simple terms, DevOps is nothing but a combination of development and operations. And different people talk about this in different way. But more of a thing, DevOps is not a technology, guys. It is a culture that we usually say in simple terms. DevOps is a culture. It's a methodology that defines how you are deploying your software or how you are maintaining your code. How frequently are you releasing your code, and how quickly are you going to fix the code? I mean, fix the bugs is what this DevOps is all about. It's a methodology that I say. And here's a definition that Wikipedia says. DevOps is a software engineering culture and practice that aims at unifying software deployments and operations. DevOps aims at shorter deployment cycles, increased deployment frequency, and more releases in close alignment with business objectives. Okay, you don't have to worry about that. So what is DevOps now? So DevOps is a culture, okay, of collaboration between developers and operations. And the culture has given rise to a set of practices. Like everybody started practicing a set of rules in order for their code to be deployed. And DevOps is a grassroots movement by practitioners for practitioners. So it is a kind of a movement that all started around 2007. Okay, and I'll tell you the timelines in a while. And now it has become a very necessity for every organization, no matter what it is, be it a banking client, be it a air industry, or be it a financial sectors, okay, be it a e-retail, no matter what. Now DevOps has become everybody's necessity at this point of time, guys. And what DevOps is not. So people think DevOps as a tools. Not really. DevOps is a collection of tools. It is not a specific tool, by the way, and it is not a standard. Okay, there are no specific set of rules that we follow. I can customize a solution based on my requirement. You can customize a solution based on your requirement. There is no right or wrong systems here. Okay, what works best for me might not work best for you. So there is no standard that we define, but that's a process that we follow. Okay, and it's not a product as a whole, and it is not even a job title, but we hear a lot of things like DevOps engineer, DevOps architect. Okay, but DevOps alone is not any job title. A history, simple history. So it all started with, I should say, software development, guys. Okay, let me give you some insights of what software development is. Usually, those who are not aware or those who are not into development, you might at some point you might have heard about waterfall model, like that we generally follow for any new project that comes up. There is some practices that we follow, such as waterfall model, V model, RAD model. Okay, and there are a lot of drawbacks in all of these models that we have, and that's where the agile started to pick up. And the main purpose of agile is to overcome all the defects or all the pros and cons that we have in the traditional models, and agile has taken over, and people started using agile as a software development model in their organizations. So DevOps grow out of agile software development movement. So it all started there when people are talking about agile, and DevOps is also parallelly picking up the pace. And now people always get confused. Now they think that DevOps and agile both are same. Not really. They are two different things, but they both go hand in hand. Agile with DevOps is the best combination that every organization is using now. So agile seeks to develop softwares in small frequent cycles in order to deliver function customers quickly and quickly respond to changes business goals. So just to give you a understanding of what this is, guys, basically, I'll take the example of a mobile phone. So if you look into the smartphones, right, Nokia first came into the market with a concept of camera, right? We all know that, and there were business phones even in Nokia. But if you look at those phones, if you remember, if you can recollect those phones now, they came with one version of operating system or the software on the mobile phones, and they died with the same versions. Whereas now, if you pick up any Android phone or if you pick up any iOS phones, Apple phones, no matter what version, if the handset is compatible, every now and then, every week or every couple of weeks, you get a new update which is meant to fix up whatever the problem that we have. Like if there is any new release, maybe the mic is not working properly or the battery is draining for some reasons, and there is a fix for that. They just release a patch, and the problem is resolved. So I should say this is kind of agile, right? Where the main, so the waterfall model is a traditional model that you have seen in the Nokia phones and all. But now every mobile that you use, in fact, they are following agile as their system, because what they do is that they chunk a huge project into small projects, like small deployments. Instead of writing 1,000 lines of code and testing it in a one single go, rather, what Agile says is that write 10 lines of code first, a small function, and then test it. If that goes well, then get into the next function and then do the merging of the code and then go with the third. In this way, what happens is that it is easy for every developer to fix the problem, and moreover, when there is a bug, it is easy for them to fix the bug too, because they don't have to go through all the 1,000 lines of code. Rather, they can only fix whatever the problem that they have in a specific chunk of the code. That is what Agile is all about. So they divide the big project into small software chunks and then they work on it. And DevOps and Agile often go hand in hand, like I said. Now, I haven't talked about DevOps yet, but Agile is a process, software development process, and DevOps is kind of a supporting technology for Agile to work properly. So a simple timeline, I'll just go real quick here. So 2007, Agile has started, and Patrick Du Bois is the one who started this movement of DevOps, guys. Let me tell you the story here. So Patrick Du Bois was a manager, technical manager, who has experience in both development as well as operations. Okay, and he is a manager for a huge team where there are like 100+ people, and he was maintaining a lot of projects simultaneously. And most of his day was spent in meetings, in fixing the conflicts between the operations team and the developer teams. Like what kind of conflict now? Developers say that, okay, I have tested the code locally, but now the ops team says that it is not able to work on their production machines. This is something that we hear on a very regular basis, guys. So this is what we call conflict. And the most of his time, the 8 hours or 9 hours of time that he spent in office, was spent on resolving these conflicts. And he realized that these conflicts are happening only because the development team is not aware of what operations team is actually doing, and operations team is not aware of what happens in development. Okay, then that is where he realized, okay, this is a lack of skill set, this is a lack of technology, and by chance he is aware of both. So he understood the problem. Then what he did is he picked up a team, few from development team and few from operations, and they started working together. And when they started working together, he realized that this team, which is a combination of both development operations, when they worked together, there was no conflict and everything went successfully. And the teams were happier because there was no conflicts and there was no argument and all. And that is where he, along with his friend Andrew Sheffer, in an Agile conference that is in 2008, they started talking to all the managers in the Agile conference. And everybody has the same problem. Okay. And in 2009, 31st, October 30 and 31st, 2009, Patrick first hosted DevOps Day in Ghent, Belgium, a conference, and that's where hashtag DevOps has all started. But the entire uh, the, the concept of DevOps has come from the problem where the collaboration between the development and operations team has started. Okay, so that's all. That's where it has started, guys. And from there, people started adopting this, and a lot of conferences happen, and every year there is a DevOps Day conference happens. Okay, virtual and live, and every new innovation comes, and that's how the DevOps has picked up the market. So with that hashtag DevOps grow into an organic grassroots movement over the world and spawned many tools to support the practice valued by DevOps. And the beauty of this is that to support these strategies, lot of tools have come up, and most of them are open source. So where it is open source, the adoption has become huge because you don't have to buy any licenses. It is open source. You have a solution, you just build your software and then release it. And when people started using it, then you maybe you can start adopting some new tools and all. That's how everybody started using this. And today, DevOps as a movement, it all started in 2019 and become a mainstream. And a large variety of tools are part of ecosystem now, DevOps ecosystem, and it completely changed the IT forever. And the way we traditionally worked for 50, 60 years on software developments has completely changed after DevOps has come into picture, guys. And talking about the goals, like I said, developer have a different goals and operations team has different goals. When you look at it, developers need to deploy the code or write the code in a fast manner. They have to incorporate new features every day, and their code should be stable. Whereas when it comes to operations team, they don't really bother about the features. Their entire job is to make sure their server is up and running. Like, let's say example, there is a website, okay, and developers have written the code for website, and that website is hosted. Now adding new features to the website is a part of development team because they have to write the code, and then they have to incorporate new features, maybe look and feel of the website, adding more features to website and all. Whereas operations team, they don't really bother about this adding of feature. They only think that, okay, if people are reaching the website, it should be up and running. They should be able to respond. That's what the operations team actually bothers about. They don't really bother about whether it has a new feature or not, which feature is working or not. No. And operations team responsibility is to make sure their website is up and running irrespective of failures. And development team's responsibility is that they don't really bother about what operations team is doing, and their job is to make sure they are able to incorporate new features every day or based on the release cycles. But with the DevOps culture, the major change that has happened is that these teams, when they're working together, now they both have the same goal: speed and stability, no matter what. So now, when we talk about DevOps teams, when they work together, they have the same goal, both speed and stability. This is what the main goal of DevOps is. Now, both the teams have main goal, and when they have a main goal, they start collaborating with each other, and which gave them the better results. So the goal of DevOps culture is to make sure the dev and ops are playing the same team. They are part of the same team. Unlike traditional methods, they are not two different teams. Now they are part of the same team, and moreover, they share the same goals now. With these things, what organizations have achieved is that fast time to market means they were able to take new features comparatively with traditional methods. They are able to build new features very frequently and with less production failures. Even if the speed, the kind of new deployment that are happening, the new features that are able to produce, and the production failures are also very less because the DevOps has a lot of automated mechanism where we do a lot of testings before we actually deploy it, and then immediate recovery from failures. Even if there is a failure, how quickly, and they are able to quickly fix those issues. Reason, now they are part of same team. They know right from the beginning what developers have done and what operations are actually doing, and if there is a fix, if there is any issue, they are able to fix up real quick. So it's all about dev and ops working together. Devs care about stability as well as speed, and ops care about speed as well as stability. The traditional role of developer and operations engineers can even become blurred. So when they are working in two different teams, developer doesn't know what operations teams are doing, and operations teams are not aware of what developers are doing. So DevOps recognizes that dev and ops are more powerful when they are together. When they are together, yes. And here is a simple thing for you to understand the differences, guys. If you see here, this picture depicts it all, the traditional method. So developers, QA team, and operations. So developers just write the code, and they never get a chance to talk to QA team directly. And whatever they've written the code, they just push over the wall, and QA team looks into it. And if there is any issue, they just send back the code. So it happens to and fro every time. Because for developers, QA is a black box. For QA, developers are the black boxes. For both QA team and developers, operations is a kind of a black box because they don't know what these guys are actually doing. See now, QA or dev throws code over the wall to operates, and there is a problem. Ops throw it back to the wall to dev. Each group domain is a black box to each other, and our systems are fine. It's your code. And developer says that, hey, whatever the kind of testing that you have done, I've done it my local machines and it's working fine. And there is problem with your machine. He says that, okay, things will not work the way it worked in your laptops, and we have different things, and make sure your code is adjusted with this kind of changes. This is what an everyday talk between the QA team and developers on a daily basis, guys. Traditionally, by the way. But when we what's wrong with traditional sellers is like dev and ops are black boxes to each other because ops is a black box. Devs don't really trust them, and ops doesn't really trust dev. And ops view devs as breaking stability because, like I said, if I am an engineer now, if I have to release my code every single day, there is high chances that I might do wrong, or maybe this new code that I'm going to install on the new server or upgrade the server might actually cause problem because of which my website might go wrong, because of which I always think that okay, this code is not stable and all. I feel kind of uncertainty in terms of deploying the code. That is a mindset of every operations team, by the way, traditionally. So even if we want to work together, dev is measured by delivering features, which means deploying changes. Ops is measured by uptime, but changes are bad for stability. This was the traditional silos. And downsides, black boxes lead to finger pointing. Lengthy process means slow time to market. Lack of automation means things like builds and deployments are inconsistent because we have to do things manually. And it takes a long time to identify and fix problems. But when we talk about DevOps, see now, everybody is part of the same team and everything is automated. No manual interventions, right from developer writing the code and then testing, compiling, building of code, and then deploying of code, and then monitoring, everything is done automatically. We are not doing any of this manually now. Every time, so initially we'll have to automate this. That is our job now as a DevOps engineer, to make sure we automate everything, and then everything happens automatically. Dev writes the code commit triggers automatic build, integration, and tests, and QA can get their hands on it almost immediately. Once it is ready, kick off an automated deployment to production. So that's it. Nowhere there is a manual interventions here. Everything is automated, and everything happens just with one single click. When the developer commits the code, it triggers all of this process in a single go. This is what we call continuous integration, continuous deployment, guys. Since everything is automated, it is much easier while keeping the track of changes, and deployments can occur more frequently, getting features into hands of a ops team.
Sir, may I ask a question?
One moment, I think I'm almost done. Just hold back to it. Is it related to this slide? Then go ahead. Hello?
Yes, I'm waiting you.
And what went right with DevOps is that DevOps and Ops work together to build a robust way of changing code quickly and reliably. Now, both Dev and Ops work together to prioritize both speed of delivery and stability. Automation lead to consistency, like building, testing, deploying happen the same way every time. And building, testing, and deploying happen much more quickly and more often. Good monitoring, proactive monitoring will help you in fixing the problems upfront, which makes you proactive rather being reactive. And Dev and Ops work together upfront to build a good process. Even the code change caused a problem, user experience little or no downtime. So with DevOps, there are happier teams. Tech employees tend to be happier doing DevOps than under traditional silos. More time involving and less time putting out fires. Devs don't feel like they have to fight to get their work out there, and ops people don't have to fight dev to keep the system stable, because now they both are having same goals. Happier customers, and DevOps lets you give customers the future they want quickly, and you don't have to sacrifice stability to do it. So yes, guys, that's all I have, guys. Just to give you insights of what is what and what DevOps is. So now go ahead with your questions, guys.
Hello, sir. This is Mohit.
Yeah, Mohit.
Yeah, sir. This session recorded, sir.
Yes, it is recorded.
So actually, I'm joined late.
And we started a bit late too.
Yes. Can you send on my mail?
You should receive it. You should receive it. Just share
Okay.
your details with the organizer. You should
Okay.
receive.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Sir,
There is detail for that.
What is that?
There is any certification for that session?
So certification, guys. In DevOps, we don't have a certification alone for DevOps, but whatever the tools that we learn, right? Individual tools have their own certifications. Like example, Terraform has their own certification. Docker has their own certification. Kubernetes have their own certification. Jenkins have their own certification. Like AWS has their own certification. So individual tools have the certifications, by the way. But DevOps as a whole, we don't have any certification there.
My question is, do you need any coding skills here to learn DevOps?
Not really, guys. I'm a best example for that. I am very scared of coding. But yes, coding in the sense we are not going to write an application code or something here, but we do automation coding. Like, infrastructure as a code is something that we need to know. Like when I say Ansible or when I say Terraform, right? So knowing that code is important and it is very easy. And they are built for someone like system administrator like us who has no development skill set before can easily adopt those technologies and those writing of code as well.
sir, this is
And
Matthew.
And what about scripting?
Guys, one by one, can someone mute, guys? I'm getting a lot of disturbance, and just unmute yourself only when you want to talk. Yeah, go ahead, guys. What was the question?
My question is that do we require more knowledge of Linux for these DevOps, or
Yes,
else the
guys.
basic?
Let me give you an example, guys. Let's say, this is off the context example, but you'll understand what I'm trying to tell you. Let's say, guys, please mute someone who is not talking. Mohit, can you also mute? Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yep. So how much of Linux is needed? I think other people also ask this, right? What I say is survival Linux, guys. Let's say example, you go to a new place, okay, maybe Germany or Russia, okay, and you are the remote places where they don't speak English, but you have to survive, right? You learn the basics of those things, right? Where to go, how are you? Like what I'm telling is a very basic language that you need to survive in that current situation of wherever you are. You go to Kerala, they don't speak Hindi or they don't speak uh, Hindi, English, and then they only understand Tamil, whatever it is, Malayalam. And then you learn that basics things. So even Linux is very huge. Linux itself is very huge. But if you start sitting on Linux and then you want to learn everything, no, that's not possible at all. So what we are doing is, what are we doing on a regular basis? On a regular basis, you get to change the file permissions because we want to execute some scripts. File permission comes into picture. So we are going to understand how the file permission works. So you'll have to install some packages. You want to configure some repository. So we get to understand what is a file manager, or how are we deploying packages. We learn that. Looking into logs, right? Because if something goes wrong, logs is the only way where you find what is the issue. Like what are the logs, where are the logs location, which logs will give you what results, and how do you get a read. Logs are like hundreds and thousands of lines. How will you get whatever you want? Like by using grep command, by using less, more, head. There are some basic commands that we use to grep whatever we want. We understand those things. And then what else we have? File permissions, user management, creation of users, granting users some extra privileges, pseudo privileges. So survival Linux is what I always tell you. Like these are the things that we use in conjunction with the DevOps tools. When you want to install some DevOps tools, there might be some file level permission which is not allowing it. So you'll have to fix those things. Maybe the user has no rights to install that. You'll have to fix those things. That is what we are going to look in the sessions, guys. There are hardly 5 to 6 main concepts that we look into, and that we'll be looking in the sessions. I'll be training you on them.
Hi, I have a question. So regarding the CI/CD that we spoke about, right, like little bit. So how
Yeah.
much of the topics that we cover in this course would be different from what we would see on Azure with DevOps if we have been working on CI/CD with Azure versus Linux?
So see, at a high level, the concept is the same. CI/CD. What is CI/CD? Like I said, the moment the developer commits the code has to undergo a lot of stages. Stages like compilation, building, testing, and then deploying. Okay, let's say these are the 5 stages. And when we talk about CI/CD, this is what we do. But when we talk about Azure DevOps, it is no different. It is the same, but the look and feel of the script that you are working is different, and the code that you write is different. So basically, if you talk about Jenkins is a kind of integration tools which integrates with a AWS infrastructure. It can be integrated with Kubernetes. It can be integrated with Docker. But when we look into Azure DevOps, these integrations are seamless because it is Azure's own proprietary service where you don't have to learn different languages here. And Azure uses their own language, like AML is what they use. And writing of code has become very simple with Azure DevOps. If you look into the traditional, the open source tools, you will have to write everything from scratch. But in Azure, you just drag and drop things with few modifications. You are good to do all the complete CS. That's the only difference. But at a high level, the concept remains the same. The integrations are seamless if you go with Azure.
Hi, this is Bharat. My question is, in Ansible, like playbooks or AML language, so till what extent we need to learn all these concepts? If the answer is a basic, till what extent? I mean,
See, I cannot tell you that, guys. It is very difficult because let me tell you this way. We are learning now. Okay, when we are learning things, we take a simple use case, a kind of use case that we take, and then we try to tell you everything whatever we know. Like example, we need to know in Ansible how are we calling what a variable is, what we are going to talk, how will you troubleshoot we are going to talk. But when you are hired by an organization, the requirement may be something different. Okay, so whatever the requirement that comes through, we are learning everything right from the scratch, and we know when to use what. With those concepts that you are learning, you will be able to work on any task given to you. That is the whole idea here. But I cannot just draw a line and tell you that, okay, these are things that you should learn and these are things that you cannot expect. I cannot tell you that. We are making ourselves ready in such a way that no matter what comes your way when you're hired or when you're given a task, you should be able to fix those things. That is what my goal out of the session is. Because I cannot guarantee what kind of project you are going to get once you're hired, or what kind of team that you belong to when you're hired. I cannot tell you that.
no. Sorry about that. My question is till what extent we need to learn languages, because I'm bad at coding and all this scripting languages.
Yes.
So
That is
yeah,
what.
yeah.
So every code is available out there, guys. Even like I said, I myself am scared of coding. Trust me on that. I'm a pure ops guy. But now I'm very comfortable in writing a Terraform code. I'm very comfortable writing AML code because all you need to know is when to use what, and that is what we are going to learn here.
Okay, so everything is scripted on real time. So
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many months is the course?
It's not months, but it would take 1.5 months, like 6 to 7 weeks. It may go up to 8 weeks, like 2 weeks, 2 months. You can just catch up.
Okay, thanks.
And
Okay.
do we have any assignments for every session? What we have every day?
Yes. Assignments are given to you guys here.
Okay.
What kind of system requirements you need for to learn this course? The basic, or you need something like heavy?
Yeah.
Or you need something like advanced?
Like,
What kind of system requirements you need?
yeah, No, yeah, that's what, right? I told you we will be using AWS. So when we are using AWS, all you need to have is a basic laptop with internet connection, and every service that we are going to build is built on top of AWS. So nothing is installed locally on your PCs. So any system should work.
So do we all have to have an account for on AWS?
Yes. I'll walk you through those steps too, where every one of you will have your own accounts for doing all the practicals.
Okay. Is the scripting is mandatory?
Huh. So yes, it is good. It's add-on. Like every organization wants scripting because that's where DevOps comes into picture, right? We are automating every single manual task that we do should be automated by using some or the other way of scripting. It should be shell script, it could be Python, it could be Bash, Go, or any language for that matter. But Python
Okay.
is most widely asked scripting language now.
Okay.
SI2 scripting, I mean shell
Are we
scripting.
going to cover any scripting in this course?
No, guys. Some basics will be covered, but not in depth.
Okay.
So for that,
Uh,
again, like I said, Python is something that you need to look into.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question. So the tools that we briefly talked about on this course, or we'll be talking about, will those be completely? I mean, will they be only be useful
Radesh, I think I lost you.
if we have deployments on AWS, or will also be for Azure?
Radesh, I'm sorry, I lost you.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Bits and pieces.
Can you hear me now?
It's like you're talking
Uh,
from a very
can
far
you hear me now?
distance. No.
Sorry,
How
can I
about now?
ask this? Hello?
Yeah, Matthew, one moment. Let me take his question, Radha's question. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What I was asking is the tools that we cover here, right, for DevOps, and you just mentioned that we would be mostly using AWS as our platform. Will the tools that we work here will also be useful if we deal with DevOps on Azure?
No. But yes, see, two things here, guys. That's a very good question, I should say. See, now, let me tell you the difference here. See, DevOps, it all started with open source. Like I said, that's where the demand of DevOps has evolved so much. Where every tool that we work is an open source tool. Like example, Git is open source, Jenkins is open source, Docker has open source, Kubernetes is an open source. But when you're working in enterprises, what happens is that you as a team, if something goes wrong with Jenkins, you are not a Jenkins expert, you're a system operations guy. And some new functionality you want or something is not working as expected, whom would you reach out now? Being an open source tool, the only source that you have is open forums, right? Developer forums, and then you do a lot of R&D and then you fix it. But with these cloud solutions like Azure and AWS, what they did is that, hey, you don't have to rely on this open source, rather use our own tools. Okay, use our own tools, use our Azure build server, use our Azure repositories, use our Azure Kubernetes service, where if something goes wrong, it's our team who is going to help you. That's the main difference. And within Azure as well, if you don't go with Azure services and if you are building these individual tools, they are just like any other PCs or any other softwares that you can use. Get my point, right? But the idea is the same. It's a CI/CD. And whatever we are learning now, with the concepts that we are learning, you are good to work with any other tools. Be it Azure also has their own DevOps tools, and AWS also has the tools. GCP has their own tools, by the way. But a quick read about them, understanding how they are working should be good enough for you to work with them in a real time.
Okay. I think, yeah. kind of got the gist of it.
Yeah.
Okay, my question is, so just like any other tools or any other software is having advantages and disadvantages, what kind of disadvantages this DevOps is having?
Disadvantages as a whole, no. Disadvantages for us like system administrators to upgrade. Because see, if there are disadvantages, right, people, the kind of demand that you see now wouldn't be there. I don't see there is any, drawbacks to this DevOps. And the reason, like I said, it is not a set of rule that we define. What work, I can customize a solution based on my need. That flexibility is what DevOps has it. So I have seen where, organizations, huge organizations, where the kind of solution that they have built is completely contrast with other tools that other teams are using. Same tools, but in a different way. So that is the beauty of DevOps here. I don't see any drawbacks here, guys. That's what I feel. But as a whole, I have never seen any drawbacks that DevOps has. It's only the kind of skill set. I personally feel that as an individual, coping up with all the latest tools, learning a new technology is something a drawback personally. But as organizations, I don't see anything.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Hi, Siva. This is Mukunda.
Yeah.
I have a question like what kind of environments we can use this DevOps? Like, can this be used for any of the environments like .NET or ERPs or whatever platforms it can
Name
do?
anything, yes. Yes. ERP, yes. See, ERP is altogether a different environment, but .NET is okay, Java is okay, Python is okay. But ERP deployments, if there is any development there, yes, we can also do that.
Mhm. So for any Scrum Master, Scrum environment, they are asking for this Agile methodology. So it goes hand in hand with the Scrum methodologies also.
Yes,
Right?
yes, that's what I told you, right? Yep, Agile is a Scrum method, right? So
Yeah.
one of the Scrum methods. So that's what I'm telling you. Agile and DevOps go hand in hand.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
So it's just like when it comes to jobs in the market, is it just a DevOps engineer or DevOps administrator or DevOps developer, something like that? Or
Yes, exactly.
so there will be three different kind of roles you can expect.
I just lost you, Chandra.
No. What my question is like, when it comes to jobs in the market, if you see Informatica developer, Informatica administrator. So when it comes to DevOps, it's just like a one position as a
It's
DevOps
just like true.
architect or.
It goes like this. AWS with DevOps is what they ask you, or Azure with DevOps is what they ask you, or Cloud with DevOps is what they ask you. But irrespective of the positions, if you look into the JD, right, all the positions that you talked about, DevOps admin, DevOps engineer, the names might be different, but the JD, if you look at the job description, they talk about tools now. They say that a good experience on Kubernetes, good experience in Docker, good experience in Python. This is the kind of JD that they give you. Wherever you see DevOps, this is what you get to see.
So you don't see like not going to use all the tools in one environment, like Kubernetes, Jenkins, or all things, or like every
No.
functionality is different.
Yes, functionality of the tool is different, but as a whole, they are interlinked with each other. So Jenkins is mandatory, Kubernetes is mandatory, because the way Jenkins is used is for integrations. Kubernetes is for hosting your Dockerized environment. The purpose of these two tools are different, but in a DevOps environment, they both work hand in hand. Code commit, like Git is a version controlling system. Now version controlling system is tightly integrated with Jenkins. Now Jenkins is tightly integrated with your Docker environment or Kubernetes environment. This is how the integration happens.
So you have to have skill on everything, not just like you cannot
Yes,
omit one of them.
understanding of all is needed, but mastering of one tool in each is needed.
Okay.
Because in the environments, you don't get a chance to work with every tool. You might be part of a team where you might be handling a bit of it.
Okay.
I have a question, Professor.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a zero knowledge in development and operations. So can I capable of doing this subject, like doing this course with zero?
Yes. Zero knowledge, yes. That's where we'll be starting. Like I said, basics of Linux is what we're going to get started. But thing is, you will have to put some extra efforts. A guy who is already operations guy, he understands the concept much easier. But when it comes to you, everything is new to you. You might understand concept, but you'll have to spend some extra time to understand the beginning of it and end of it, where the bigger picture is something that you should understand.
Hi, this is Rajesh again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Radesh.
Yeah, I have one more question which might sound similar to what I asked before. So the Kubernetes and Docker, now that Microsoft is tending more towards the open source things, right? So the tools that we learn still will be useful on 2016 kind of platform, right? Even if it is on Azure with DevOps.
Yes. See, it's not mandatory that, like, I understood your point now. So when we think of Azure, it's not mandatory that there you should use only a Windows platform. You are allowed to use Linux platform as well. Now, when Microsoft says that they are okay with open source, it's like now Microsoft loves Linux is what they say. There is a statement, even if you go and type in Google, you say Microsoft loves Linux, you see that. So you are good to use a open source platform like Linux, CentOS, Ubuntu, or also you're good to use in Azure. See, let's say this is where the comparison comes. I'm building a .NET code, and you usually build .NET code on Windows platform. That's okay. So that's fine. But when it comes to Java, when it comes to Python, they are more. Now you can build a Python code both in Windows machines as well as Linux machines as well. Now it's organization choice whether where they want to build it. So if it is a Linux, yes, now Azure supports Linux as well as a build platform. That's where this individual operating system comes into picture. But as a whole, we are not installing any platform. Like when we talk about Azure DevOps or AWS DevOps and the normal DevOps that we're going to look into, we do the installations manually. Like Kubernetes, you will have to install by yourself. Jenkins, you'll have to install by yourself. Writing a code, you should do by yourself. But when you get into Azure DevOps, you don't have to write the code at all. The code is ready-made available to you. Just with few drag and drops, like you can drag and drop things like whatever you want. It builds the code in the backend, customize it. That's it. That's the beauty that you get out of Azure DevOps. But when we go to the open source tools, you will have to maintain everything. When I say maintain, you will have to install it. You will have to take care of the version upgrades. You will have to take care of the high availability of the servers. But with this hosted solutions, you don't have to manage services. You don't have to worry about them. That's the only difference.
Okay, got it. Hi.
Hi, this is Ajay. Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Ajay.
yeah. Actually,
Yeah, Ajay,
I'm
go ahead. Yeah.
yeah. Basically, I'm mechanical engineer. Now I'm moved to in IT sector, like a DevOps or AWS. Can I eligible this course or?
See, guys, yes, you are eligible. You are eligible to do everything. So my idea here is that after these sessions, with good practice and good reading, and then understanding the bigger picture of the concepts and all, you can straight away put 1.5 to 2 years of DevOps experience.
Okay.
Get my point?
Yeah.
So, on an average, if you have 5 years of experience, no matter what you are doing before 5 years, when you say overall 5 years of experience with 2.5 years or 1.5 year on DevOps is what you showcase your profile as.
Okay.
And since you're applying for a DevOps role, they don't really bother about what you have done before, and they only concentrate on the technology that you have put, like DevOps, and they start asking questions on those things.
Okay. Actually, what are the production PP, production planning control, ERP, in past experience. Now I move into the AWS and DevOps. It is a combination of the AWS and DevOps or pure DevOps regarding this sector.
See, we use AWS as well, but we are not getting in details into AWS. We only take care of DevOps tools here, but everything is hosted on AWS.
Okay.
Hey Shiva, I have a question.
Satish.
We are talking about DevOps, but if we see that the waterfall model, or it's not fully agile, they have a role kind of release engineer. That's we are seeing since past, and still it's going on. So my question is there any similarities or differences between that? And other question I have is that, and when we see the DevOps, so there are other word they're saying that reliability, site reliability engineer. So is there any relation between DevOps and the site reliability?
SRE. Yes, guys. There is a difference between an SRE and DevOps. See, now DevOps, like I said, you are part of a development team now, where your job include, like, developer commits the code. If it is failed for some reasons, maybe because of some issues and all, your job as a DevOps, you need to fix that problem and then deploy things, and things are deployed. But when it comes to site reliability engineer, they are more of a system administrators, where they monitor their infrastructure 24/7, where their responsibility is to make sure machines are up and running irrespective of failures, and the servers are running appropriately without any delays in responses and all. That is what an SRE guy does, and they automate all the process. So there is a huge difference between DevOps engineer and a site reliability engineer. So site reliability engineer is someone who works 24/7 as a part of a team, and his job is to manage the infrastructure operations team. He doesn't work on any of the tools that I'm talking about. He whole and soul take care of the individual servers that they have in their organizations. Whereas when I talk about DevOps engineer, now you are part of a big ecosystem, the complete CI/CD, where your job is to maintain these things. Let me give you one more simple example. Let's say there are 4 teams, 4 DevOps teams, and these 4 DevOps teams are relying on operations team for their servers. You need a Jenkins server. You cannot provision directly. You'll have to rely on someone in the backend, right, who can give you the servers. So the 4 teams infrastructure is maintained by SRE in the backend. They give you resources and you build your tool and you start working on them as a DevOps engineer. You get my point, right?
Yeah, the SRE nothing but a kind of production level 1 or 2, something like that.
Yes, exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
gotcha.
True.
And is there any relation, in the writing, right now the trend is like before the DevOps, there is a release engineer, right? Still going on. So is there any relation between that?
No, see, yes, as a part of DevOps stuff, most of the release engineering tasks are done automatically with just few clicks.
Okay.
So when you are hired as a DevOps engineer, you can be a part of release engineering team as well. When it is a huge ecosystem of DevOps, and yes, you might be part of release engineering too. But we don't do those things manually now. It is all automated.
Thank you, Shiva.
Tools. Yeah. Here, I think he has a lot of questions, guys. I just missed his chat.
Shiva, last question. Why
So
we need
Matthew, are you here? I think he left. Yeah, go ahead, Vijay.
hello. Yeah, why we need to adopt DevOps to our project?
Yeah, Vijay, go
What
ahead.
is the need?
Why do we?
Shiva,
Vijay, your voice is breaking.
Now?
Yeah, better.
Yeah. Why we need to adopt DevOps to our project? Any reason or
Yeah,
reason
I told you,
behind?
right? Faster deployments, faster deployments, uh, easy bug fixes, troubleshooting becomes easier, and your code is stable. Testings happen seamlessly, the deployments happen seamlessly, and no fights between teams, no finger pointing. All of these are the advantages, and moreover,
Yeah, Shiva,
a better
interrupt
deployment.
you.
Yeah.
Hi all, this is Lakshmi from Career IT. Batch is starting from Tuesday IST, that is the 26th May. And for USA people, it falls on Monday evening. So I'll be sharing all the details along with the session link and even today's recording also. So everyone, please do check your mail. Thank you. Yeah, please you can carry on, Shiva garu.
Yeah.
Hello.
Vijay, did I answer your question?
Oh.
Yes, Shiva.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, hello. Can I hear me? My voice? Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you,
So
Nagas.
in this DevOps course, shell scripting and groove scripting is can I cover?
See, we are going to write. See, we will write a pipeline code, CI/CD pipeline code, where we use Groovy. Okay.
Yes.
Shell scripting basics will be covered, like what is a script and how do we execute those things, and all those things will be covered.
Okay. Thank you. And one more doubt, Siva.
Hmm.
Hello.
Yeah, tell
One
me.
more doubt. In DevOps engineer real-time scenarios, which problems they will face, that one also will explain in this DevOps course.
Yes.
Okay, real-time scenarios daily. Which problems will place in DevOps engineer?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yes, those things, and then what kind of questions you can expect in the interview, right?
Okay.
It's a kind of preparation for you as well.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Radesh. I have one question. So
Hmm.
the CI/CD process, uh, it's actually dependent on DevOps, right? But it's not platform dependent, if I understand it right. Like even if we are
Yes.
doing it on Azure, if we are trying to implement CI/CD with DevOps on Azure, this course would still be useful, right, for the Linux platform?
Yes. Yes. That's what I'm telling you. It is still
Okay.
useful, but you should get adjusted to the console, like how are we doing things there. But at a higher level, CI/CD remains same irrespective of platform that we use.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've been working only on Windows platform so far, and that's why I was trying to correlate between what I'm working versus what I am learning right now, because maybe my need of the hour is more on Azure. That's why I was just trying to correlate between the two things.
Yes. So that becomes easy for you now when you actually learn this. You can simultaneously start exploring those things, Azure DevOps. That becomes easy now. So when you're learning this, the hardest way of doing it, and it becomes a cakewalk for you in doing things in Azure.
Okay, thank you.
Shiva, I have a question here. Is this only we go for the Ansible for deployment or we'll go along with Puppet also?
Puppet, no. Puppet is not widely being asked in industries now. The legacy Puppet has become a kind of legacy service now, and we will be using Ansible as a configuration management tool. Puppet is not covered, and we talk Terraform as an infrastructure automation tool.
Yeah, okay, Shiva. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you share the course content that all the which are the tools are covering in the
You should
course?
receive that, Srikanth. Yes, you should definitely receive it
Okay.
by end of today. With along with the course, I mean along this
Okay.
video recorded, you should also receive the course content.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shiva.
Yep. So guys, I think you heard the announcement, right? Like the session would start from Tuesday, 26th, and the same time. And if you need any information regarding the fee and then the course curriculum and all, just get in touch with the organizer, and they will be happy to share the details. Any more questions? Anyone?
Is this a weekend or every day? Every
Weekdays.
day, weekdays. Okay.
Weekdays.
Weekdays.
Yes.
Including Saturday, Sunday.
Sometimes yes, I'll have to spend some Saturdays and Sunday, but I'll do an announcement upfront.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So that's all I have got, guys. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, or else we can close the session for today, and then we'll meet you on Tuesday.
Hey, Shiva. I have one question.
Go ahead, Suresh.
Yeah, sure. For the certifications, right? You said there is a separate certifications for separate tools like Jenkins and AWS, right? Do you suggest what certifications required most for this course at the end of the course? And
See, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Now the market demand is for Docker and Kubernetes. Okay. Now they are becoming like necessity for every organizations, and Kubernetes has their own certifications. That I would recommend from the DevOps point of view. And if you are learning AWS, yes, obviously solution architect associate would be the right choice.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and will you provide any guidelines and tips for the certifications? Or
certification as a whole, like Kubernetes is something which is different from the certification point of view, but I can give you some links and all insights for you to how to prepare and all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have one more question. Do we cover any of database related things?
Radesh, I just lost you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My question is regarding, do we cover any database technologies as part of this course?
Nowhere database is involved. So that's all, guys. Anything else? Hope, guys, I've gave you all the information that you need. And in case if you have any, just feel free to ask in the next session, and I'll be more than happy to answer those things. So thank you all. Have a good weekend, and see you all on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shiva.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Shiva.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.